Hi, I'm Cliff, and this is my garage. And today, I'm going to show you an easy way to take the tint off your windows. Hey, welcome back to the garage. And if this is your first time joining me, thanks for dropping by. So, like I mentioned in a previous video, my new to me 2006 Porsche Cayman S came with incredibly dark tint on the windows. Here in Florida, the legal limit for window tint is 28% visible light transmission on the front passenger and driver's side windows. That means that you have to allow at least 28% of light to come through the window tint to be legal. Well, one of the previous owners installed 5% window tint on this car, and it is, well, to be honest, it is stupid dark. I mean, it is stupid dangerous. It is almost impossible to see out these windows at night. The first time I drove this car at night, I was like, oh my God, I'm just like blind. I can't see out these side windows. I could see headlights and street lights, and that was about it. So I'm going to take the stuff off and get it replaced with something more along the 50 to 70% range. And I called a tint shop about getting the tint replaced, and they quoted me $160 just to remove the old tint. Well, that's too much. At least for me, that's too much, because it's just not that hard to remove it. Now, in researching this, I thought, well, maybe there's an easier way than the way I do it. And I came across some other crazy ways of doing it. One involving cutting black plastic trash bags and taping it to the window and spraying in like ammonia-based cleaners, and then putting another bag on the outside and letting the whole thing sit in the sun and bake for an hour. Yes, that probably does dissolve the glue and it comes right off, but man, what a messy process. It's just, you just don't need to do that. So I'm going to show you a real simple way that just involves using a heat gun. Now, the heat gun I like to use is this Vivid heat gun. It's not a particularly well-made one, but it's good enough for how infrequently I use it. A couple things I do like about it: it has a high and a low fan speed setting, so that can come in handy. And also it's got this LCD readout, because you can continuously adjust the temperature. And instead of, like degree markings on the dial, or this window just, or this display just reading out what you're setting it to, it actually measures the heat or the temperature of the air coming out of the gun and shows it to you. So it's a little harder to set than the ones that have the individual degree markings, because you have to fiddle with it to get the reading you want. But you're getting what I presume is a true reading. And to take window film off, I set it to about 200 degrees. Now, another one that I use sometimes with tighter spaces is this little, it's called like a craft heat gun. It's not that much less expensive. It's maybe $20 less. The Vivid heat gun's in the $40 range. This one's in the $20 range. It has no heat setting. It has one heat setting, the one it comes with. So if you need to save the money, this works pretty good on removing window tint. I'll give you links on both of them in the description of the video. So to remove the window tint, you're going to use the heat gun to warm up the tint. You can peel it cold, but it tends to come off in a kind of a jerky motion and leave big lines of adhesive. You'll get some of that, and it's not that hard to clean up. You'll get some of it using a heat gun, but it does come off easier, and it leaves a lot less glue on the glass. So let's just start it up. Let it come up to temperature, which it does pretty quickly, and just start warming the glass. and the film, and then start picking at a corner. Okay, there we go. And just keep warming the glass, and it comes off. And warm it up a little more. It gets harder and harder to peel as, of course, the line you're pulling becomes longer and longer. But it's coming off beautifully, leaving little to no glue, at least so far. Just constant, steady pressure. Now the film is going down behind the edge of the door here. So I'm just heating down in there and pulling up. It is coming out. Oh yeah, this is coming off real nicely. In fact, it's, as far as I can tell, leaving no glue at all. Be careful down near the door itself. You don't want to heat up and melt your door trim. Okay, so that's coming off super easy. One thing is that it does go, the film on this car was installed way down in here, so I'm going to have a challenge getting that out. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pull, and hopefully it'll just turn loose and slide on out. Slow down here and get this reheated. Okay, yeah, it's coming right on out. Actually, I think it tore some. All right, there we go. Now, that's all off of there in less time than it would have taken to cut the silly plastic bag and spray on ammonia. In less time than that, I've gotten this completely off, no problems. Now, if you did get glue left on here, the easiest way to get it off is use acetone. Now, be super careful when you're using acetone because it is an extremely aggressive solvent. And it'll mess up all kinds of materials. It'll pull paint off, you know, so be careful. What you want to do with that is get a good thick wad of paper towels. You don't want a thin layer because acetone evaporates so fast. If you get a nice thick wad of paper towels, not too thick, maybe 5 or 10 layers, pour it on there away from the car, and then it'll soak in and it'll create a nice reservoir in there that won't evaporate so fast. Set the acetone aside and put the cap on because it's really nasty smelling. Probably want to do this outside. And then you can wipe down and the glue will come off real easily and it won't drip. There's no chance of getting it on your clothes or ruining your car. So, but if you go with the acetone route, be super careful with it. Okay, so one other place that this car has film on it is on the headlights. So let me show you that. Okay, so they've also applied tint to these, the headlights of the car, not as egregiously as the side windows, but still the tint is beginning to bubble up and crack and just not looking good at all. So I'm going to pull this off. This time I'm going to try using the little gun, and it's just basically the same process. I tried peeling some of it off here cold, and it just cracked and tore. It would have taken you hours probably to try and pick this stuff off. But let's use a heat gun and see how easy it makes it now. This gun is a lot easier to hold. Oh yeah, look how much it softened it up. When you're trying to get it started, don't reach in there while you've got the heat on it, because the temperature of the air coming out is really quite high. I've got trouble getting it started in that direction. Yeah, we'll just come at this another way. And in this particular case, you probably need to be a little more careful. Because these are plastic headlights. You really don't want to melt them, because I don't know about just the lens cover. I know the entire unit is about $2,000 to replace, or about $2,000 to buy. Oh yeah, see, look how easily this is coming off now. It wasn't even remotely cooperative when it was cold, but it's coming off nicely. And I'm not sure if it's showing up in the video, but these plastic lens covers are in bad shape. See, I got into the cold part and it tore. Got to slow down some. You also want to be careful that you're heating, as much as possible, heat the part that's stuck, not the part that's already loose, because this will just pull and tear. Where that tore, I'm just going to loop around and catch it in the other direction. And of course, you can always just stop and cut off this part. I'll just do that now. Oh, got a little too aggressive there and tore it. Okay, that's all right. Just warm this up and start again. There we go. What was that? 2-3 minutes? And we're all done. So yeah, probably the film was put on there maybe to partially cover up the bad condition of this plastic. I'll show you in another video how to take care of that, and something that works, not using toothpaste or stuff, something like that. Okay, now sometimes you have a window like this quarter window here, where the film has been tucked in all around the edges. You don't have an edge you can get to. So all we'll do is we'll warm up and we'll go from the middle. Just heat the film up. You can kind of feel the outside of the glass. When it starts getting warm, you know it's warm enough. And then carefully going with the blade sideways and pop the center. Use the flat of the blade to pull up. Come on. You can kind of see where it's delaminating. I talked about that earlier. Sometimes they have the inner portion coming off. I'm not getting all the film. Let's just warm this up again. There we go. Still delaminated. Okay. Now it's coming loose. Wow, I'm having a lot of problems with this one. I don't have a DLAM problem like this with any other part of it. And now it pulls away from the inside edge. Hopefully this heat gun is not too loud. If it is, I'll just put in subtitles or do another voiceover. Alright, it's coming out very nicely now. There we go. We've got some minimal glue here in the middle. I'll hit that with just a spot of acetone and we'll be all done. And that's all there is to it, just using an inexpensive heat gun. No cutting plastic trash bags, no ammonia spray all over the place, and that mess, no sitting out in the sun. One thing I kind of forgot to mention, don't use a razor blade. Because, yeah, it works most of the time. But it is possible to scratch auto glass with a razor blade if you're not, well, yeah, if you're not careful. If you do, it's really expensive because you basically have to replace that piece of glass. So no razor blades, no plastic bags, no, I'm trying to think of one of the other crazy things I saw. It all escapes me at the moment. This is quick and simple. If you don't already have a heat gun, you're looking at an investment of as little as about 20 bucks. If you want to get a nicer one like the Vivid, $40. All right, so let's see. I think that's all there is to talk about on this. Oh, the best part, like I said, no plastic trash bags, etc. No $160 bill from the tint shop to do what's going to take me maybe 30 to 45 minutes to remove all the tint on this car. So that's it for today. Hopefully you'll be able to use this information to save yourself a lot of money and or time. Look down there, find that thumbs up button. Please give us a like on the video. Think about subscribing, because that way you'll get notified every time I post new content from here in Cliff's Garage. See you next time.